I am in the business of helping people align their use of capital with what's important to them. Don't get stuck with these technical things. Right? कि ये है, वो है, ऐसा नहीं, वैसा नहीं. Just focus on what's important. More importantly, focus on doing the right thing for your customer. That's what the regulator even wants, that you should do what's right for your customer, period.
Hello, friends. Hello, and a very, very warm welcome to Network FP Success Talks, where you meet, get inspired, and get insights from the leaders of personal finance professionals. And I have with me our very special guest, Mr. Amar Pandit, founder of MFA Capital and Happyness Factory. Welcome, Amar.
Good morning. Good morning, Sadiq. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much.
Friends, Amar Pandit, and along with his two main companies, they manage over 5,100 crores of assets. And along with that, Amar is also an author of 5 personal finance books, including the bestseller, The Only Financial Planning Book You'll Ever Need. So, Amar, with all this, I've been a witness to your journey from 2005. Literally from the time you have begun in this profession, and great to see the amazing growth which you and your company has taken, Amar. Welcome to the show once again on behalf of the entire community.
Thank you, Sadiq. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Amar, let's get started. Let's revisit the year 2005 when you got started as a financial planner, advisor. I know that you came back from US, but if we can revisit to the year when you started, why, when, and how did you start this practice, and what made you get into this profession?
Sure. So I'll probably go a few years behind to set the context. So I come from a tech background, Sadiq. So I started my career with TCS. My first client there was G Capital. That's how I got into the field of financial services. Was with TCS for about 5 years, worked in UK, US, Belgium. Then I joined a banking and a financial software products company as their North American head. So I was based out of New York, did that for about 4 years. One of the clients that I got on board for the firm wanted to take over the firm. So I thought my role is done here, and now I must do something that I'm truly passionate about. So a lot of introspection as to the career that I wanted. And the only thing I could think about at that time, this was in 2004, was about, financial planning. So my first thought was, why don't I start off in the US? Because I'd worked there for an extended period of time. I knew a lot of people there. I had some friends. I could probably start off. And, as you know, financial planning as a profession started in 1969. By 2004, there was a track record of almost 35 years, right? And people were practicing this. So I thought this is the best place for me to start. So I was going to start off in the US. I don't know what happened. And I asked myself, why don't I go back to India? Because in India, nobody is talking about fee-based financial planning in a very structured way. Nobody was talking it. I could see the kind of, advice at that point of time. I can use that word. So what I was getting from my bankers, and there was a huge gap, right? So I thought, why don't I go back to India and start this firm? So a lot of people told me, boss, you're an idiot to go back to India. Nobody's going to pay you fees. You'll have to pack your bags and then come back within a couple of years. So save yourself some pain, agony, money, energy, everything, and just start off here. But I thought you'll take my chances. If I don't go now, I won't be able to go ever. And the first question that I asked, what's the worst that can happen? I'm pretty qualified. I can get a job anywhere, even if I fail at this. Right. So with that, with that belief, I came back. My daughter was just about 11 months old. At that point of time, she's like 20 now. And so I came back in 2004, October 2004. Took a few months to understand the nuances of the markets, of how things operate here, because the way things operate here were pretty different than what I was exposed to earlier. Right. So I came back in October 2004, early 2005, I started the firm. That's how I got into this. Yeah.
Lovely. So you started with, and by the way, I've been in love with your name, by the way. Okay. My financial advisor, you literally captured, okay, whatever you want, whomever you want to go, but your financial advisor is Amar Pandit. Okay?
Yeah. So we don't use that. Yeah, we don't use that name anymore, Sadik. So we are just.
I understand, but it's MFA Capital now. We'll
Yeah.
come to that.
Yeah.
We'll come to that. So you started in the year 2005 and mostly as a fee-based financial planning practice, comprehensive financial planning practice. And over a period of now almost 19 years, built assets worth 5,100 crore, including the Happyness Factory, as I understand. Correct? That's been the journey now.
That's been the journey.
Super. So one is your we'll come to the Happyness Factory. Yeah. So let's go back. I know that you are also an entrepreneur and you do a lot of other things beyond financial advisory and distribution, right? So what's it like? I have always admired you as a entrepreneur.
I just lost you for a minute.
Also, along with being a financial advisor, I also know that you run some other businesses apart from financial advisory and distribution, which are equally interesting. So can you share a little bit about other businesses?
Yeah. So
beyond MFA Capital and Happyness Factory.
So one of them is, Happydemic. To be very honest, I don't have an operational role in the firm anymore. I used to have it at one point of time. Though I'm the CFO of the firm, I don't have an operating role at this point there. But that's a firm where we have a music tech platform where we have got almost about 2,600 artists on the platform on one side. And on the other side, we've got more than 300 plus corporates on board as our clients. So we have, so we tried to solve a couple of problems, right? One was that when we saw that, artists were getting discovered. This was way back in 2015. They were getting discovered through these reality shows, whether it's Indian Idol, whether it's a different Saregamapa, etc. All of that. They had their 90 days of glory, fame, etc. All of that. But beyond that, there was no work for them. There was no consistent work for them. They were getting some would make it. If I ask you who's the Indian Idol 1 winner, you would probably be able to name that person. If I ask you who is 2, 3, 4 ka winner, you probably not have know. Right? Even if I ask you that 10, even Indian Idol 1, who is number 2, 3, 4, you might probably not know the names, right? So there are a lot of people were getting discovered. There was no work. So we thought that how do we provide work to these artists without them leaving their towns? And there's talent across the country. And that is how this firm, shaped up, because one of our clients was interested in the music space. And and we got there. The second one is a film production company where we have produced a movie called as Cycle, which is so the name of the company is Happy Minds Entertainment. So we produced this movie and we sold it to Viacom. It's a Marathi movie that we did, and it's on Netflix. If you haven't watched it already, you should watch it. As I mentioned to you, it's extremely popular. It's been loved by folks even in the US by people who don't understand Marathi as a language. So there are subtitles. People have loved it. I've got a lot of love from folks from all over the world. And it's a simple, nice, magical movie.
So that's Amar Pandit, a financial personal finance professional as well as a movie producer. So good, Amar, wearing multiple hats. Now let's come to your practice and showcase, in many of my trainings and all, we have showcased Amar Pandit as the financial planner practicing fee only and fee-based financial planning services. And I'm aware that you have a practice in US also, the RIA practice, the fee only RIA practice in US. And you had a RIA practice here in India, which you surrendered. You surrendered the RIA license. So can you tell us a little bit about why you started RIA practice in US and in India, and why you are still holding on to the RIA practice in US, and why did you surrender this practice here in India?
So the RIA firm in the US was a natural culmination of what we did here, right? So that's a firm that we started a couple of years back. We started about 2+ years back, and not something that these decisions were not related to each other. They were independent of each other, right? So like I said, back in 2004, 2005, I wanted to have a firm there. But life has come a whole circle for us where we have now gone the reverse way, right? So we have a presence in the US because the US is one of the biggest wealth markets in the world. And, the US has a lot of Indian families too, right? The Indian diaspora is probably the second largest there. There are phenomenal opportunities in that space. And given the strength of the offering that we had in terms of the client experience and the value proposition, we clearly felt there was a need for this offering in the US. And there's been a lot of traction. People are loving what we do in terms of our client experience as well as value proposition in the US. So that's one. Just to give you a broader sense that, we see the US market and the Indian markets as two different markets. There are a lot of differences, right? So one is the sheer size of the market. Right. B is the type of customer, right? C, in terms of the depth, that probably, as you would know, that there are more than 93,000 CFPs in the US versus the number that you would probably hear, maybe less than 2,000 people who are practicing. So even the size, even the business models there are pretty different. Right. So our decision to practice a certain model here in this country was a function of the business models prevailing that made sense here for us, that we had to make a choice, that we couldn't keep our feet in two boats. Right. So we didn't want to be this and that. So we wanted to make one choice and made that choice here. Right. Whereas there we are very clear, this is who we are. And here again, we are very, very, very clear who we are. One big difference that I just want to highlight for the benefit of your listeners is that the structure of the US market and the Indian market is very different. The US wealth market was dominated by wirehouses, right? By wirehouses, I mean firms like Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs, all these firms, and broker dealers. Right. And people who were a part of these firms, when they felt suffocated and had a desire something beyond the firm, they went independent. In India, we have always been independent. Even before this, we were called IFAs. Even before the regulatory changes that have taken place, we were always called independent financial advisors.
Absolutely.
Whereas there, the structure was very different. So the models in these two countries were very, very, very different, right? While there are some similarities, there are many similarities, but you have to also understand the differences. You have to understand the nuances of each market. Just to give you a context, Starbucks was super successful in many countries, but they couldn't break the Australian market because of the cultural difference. So even
did the regulation have the way the regulations are structured? Did it have a impact on your decision to shut down your RIA practice and continue as a mutual fund distributor model?
So we were both, right? We were both here. Like I said, we were both.
Correct.
We had a separately identifiable division. So we had a SIDD model, right? And we had both. So we had to take a conscious choice, like decision. So when a client comes to your firm, where does the client belong, right?
Correct.
Does he go here? Does he go here? So there's always a lot of confusion, right? People are confused, and we don't like to admit these things to ourselves.
Correct.
Right? Hum sab karte hain. We say that we do this, we do that, we do everything. We are for everyone. But from a positioning perspective, even from a positioning perspective, you have to make certain choices.
Got it.
And while the decision to give it up was very painful, it was not easy. It was even very painful financially too.
True.
Financially too, it was very painful, Sadiq. We didn't have like chota numbers, right? We had,
I understand.
we had some serious numbers, and the decision was, very painful. And because that's something that we practiced for a long period of time, and that's our DNA. So the decision was very difficult, but sometimes difficult things need to be done, and that's exactly what we did.
I completely get you, Amar, and we have seen many people taking that route because of various. One of the things, obviously, which you mentioned was the structure and the market readiness, and all these things. Now, again, coming back, you have been the champion of financial planning as a profession and financial planning as a concept, right? So how do you still practice the principles of financial planning and what we learned in our CFP certification, being a mutual fund distributor?
See, the biggest thing here is that I'm not obsessed about financial planning or the terms like financial plan, or I'm in the business of finance, personal finance, etc., or all of that. I'm not obsessed about that. Like I see, the key things here are the following. How do you distribute mutual funds? You don't distribute mutual funds by telling people mutual funds lay low. There is a certain process. There's a certain process that you need to have in place, where you need to understand a client. Now, people get stuck up in our space between data gathering and discovery, right? People don't know what a discovery meeting is, right? A data gathering meeting focuses on numbers, hardcore numbers, ye data, income, expenses, assets, wo hai. But the thing is that in a discovery meeting, you want to understand your client, right? You have to be curious about your client. You have to be a student, not of numbers, but of your client. You have to understand them well, right? And most clients today, what do they want, right? They want to know, am I doing okay? Do I have enough? How much is enough? What do I need to do today to get to my enough? Am I on track? Am I making progress towards my goals, right? If I get off track, right, what do I need to do? Right? So these are basic questions that every family wants to know. But हम क्या करते हैं? हम उसको complicate करते हैं. That we say, active versus passive, indexing, large cap, mid cap, asset allocation, all of these things, right? We complicate. So we speak in a language that the consumer does not get, right? Whereas the consumer wants very simple things. See, personal finance is more about personal than it's about finance. And I'm obsessed about the personal part of it.
Right.
This business is no longer about IQ. It's about EQ.
True.
Yeah. And people have to be focused on that aspect, that you have to know your customer. What do you know about your customer? That if you tell me that, how do you even distribute a mutual fund? How do you figure out suitability if you don't know your customer? If you don't know his objectives, his time horizon.
And that's precisely what is financial planning, right?
Yeah. What is like define financial planning? It is helping someone take a decision. What is planning, right? Let's not get complicated. Let's not get, let's keep it very simple. I'm not in the business of making financial plans or financial planning. I am in the business of helping people align their use of capital with what's important to them.
Bang on.
That's the business. I'm in the business of investor management, right? So understand the business that you are in, that don't get stuck with these technical things, right? Ki ye hai, wo hai, aisa nahi, waisa nahi. Right? Just focus on what's important. More importantly, focus on doing the right thing for your customer. That's what the regulator even wants, that you should do what's right for your customer, period.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's it. I mean, you put it in a very strong and simple way, Amar. Ultimately, what matters is, are you doing what's in the interest of the client? And regulator also wants us to do that. Whether you are, whatever regulations or whatever licenses you hold. Very nicely put, Amar. Now, coming to your clients, I know that, you have a very beautiful structured practice catering to, especially to the high net worth individuals, as we understand. And so if you can share a little bit about your client base, what kind of clients you have, and how do you and I'll come to, you also have a celebrity practice. A lot of celebrities and stars are clients of MFA Capital and Amar Pandit. So share some stuff about that piece.
Sure. So what we've always done, Sadik, is that we have run our firm in terms of practices, right? We had initially 4 practices within the firm. Now we have 6. Yeah. So we had a surgeon's practice, we had a celebrity practice, we had a corporate executives practice, we had an entrepreneur's practice. We now have a parents of special needs children practice, and we have a NRI practice. So these are 6 practices that we've been running in the firm. Each practice is being led by a practice head. From the start, what we've done is that we have invested well in people, right? There's no way for me to do everything. One person can never do more than a certain number of things, right? So whole thing was that we've always built a fantastic team. We have invested well in people. We have invested well in technology. We have done that. Probably my portfolio will be much, much, much smaller than an average size IFA, because I have invested everything back in the business. My personal portfolio might be very, very, very small as compared to some of the guys who would probably have large personal portfolios, because most of them have not built a business, right? Whereas I have actually invested in people. I have invested in technology. I have invested in building a world-class global firm, right? So what's helping us in the US today is the quality of stuff that we do, right? Why are we are able to get a client from a Merrill Lynch or a UBS or a Wells Fargo? Why is that possible? Because of the work that we do, because of the quality of the work that we do, right? And how we take care of our clients. Because I always say that we are in the financial care business. We are not in the financial services business. That we are in the financial care business. And how much do you care for your clients, right? So we have built everything around these practices, and we have solid domain expertise in each of these, practices. The kind of work that we do is at a very different level.
Lovely. I love the fact that, you've gone beyond doctors. Within doctors, you have gone on to the surgeons, right? So beautiful. Now, celebrity practice, at least I know of one person. Do you want to share 2-3 names who has given you permission to?
We have permission from many, but as a firm, as a policy, you would probably never see us taking names. You would never see my pictures with anyone. You would probably never see that. And that's been the way it stayed right from the start, that even within our firm for a long period of time, and even now, people don't know who all our clients are, who all our celebrity clients are, and that's what a lot of these celebrities truly appreciate. That they appreciate the value of confidentiality. They appreciate that we value, that we preserve that we don't take this access for granted. We don't use it in a very frivolous way.
I understand.
Even if we could. So I would probably refrain from using any names, at this point of time. But I could probably give you a broad indication that we have almost about 55, 56 celebrities as our clients. Probably one of the largest, practices in terms of celebrities in this in the country, and we are growing that practice.
Fantastic. But I'll not stop myself. You are stopping yourself, but I'll not stop myself, because at least I know of one name and I'm free to use it because it's in the public domain. So friends, Vidya Balan is one of the celebrities who's associated with MFA Capital. Anything that you want to share about Vidya Balan and your association with her? Because I've seen her videos with MFA Capital. So if you want to share something, otherwise we'll move on.
No, she's fantastic. She's extremely talented, and is more than a client to us. Vidya's father, Mr. P.R. Balan, who is also a part of our firm, is a part of our team, who is a part of our firm at his age of 76.
Oh, wow.
And he is probably the youngest member in our team. And Vidya's more than just a client to the firm.
Lovely. Got it. Amar, let's move on to the team which is making this all happen. Can you share, there are almost like 62 people, 60 odd people in your team. How is that structured, and what are the various divisions that you have within the team who are serving these 400 families and managing this kind of asset book? And we also have a beautiful case study which I share with other financial advisors, the rise of Chitra as a CEO from a 5,000 rupees earning employee to becoming the CEO. So if you can share a little bit on these fronts, that will be nice.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a context to that story of like 5,000, because that's so important. Because so the thing was, this was like I don't know if, yeah, I think we discussed this, but in 2006 I met Chitra for the first time. She used to come to her son's school on the same floor where I had my first 150 square feet office. And like one day she was like just sitting out, and I asked her, why don't you come in? My office was empty and there was practically no one. And then she was like reading some book, and I was curious about that book. So we just started talking. Nobody introduced us. And probably within an hour or so, I told her, why don't you join me? And I told her that, look, I won't be able to afford you. Chitra comes from an investment banking background. She's a pretty seasoned financial professional. You should interview her someday, right? She has her own podcast, and you should call her. She is that good. Yes. But I told her that, look, I can't afford to pay you. I can only give you 5,000 rupees at this point of time, because this is all all I can do. But I have this vision. And she was kind enough, gracious enough to understand that and to support me. And she's been with me since then, right? So in 2006, and somewhere in 2015, I decided to step down from the CEO role of MFA, as I wanted to start and launch Happyness Factory. And the transition was not like sudden. The whole point was that, like I said, that we have leaders at a practice level. We have built this firm as an enterprise. So right when we had a team of just about 8 to 10 people, I hired my first HR person. And a lot of people told me, you're an idiot. HR mein kaun dalta hai? Why are you wasting money? But I know that money is not the only thing. Your biggest capital is time. So while I would probably spend money, but I was protecting my time capital, right? So we have a HR function, we have a finance function, we have a research function, we have a client management function, we have a marketing team. So we have an ops team, a client service team. So we have each and every team that an enterprise in a world-class financial firm would probably have. That's how we are structured.
Fantastic. Let me reframe this. So you are acting as a chairman, as a guide of an organization. Then you have functional heads for various divisions, and then there are practice heads, and then there are RMs and operations people. Am I kind of right with the structure of MFA Capital?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Amar, coming to your second, literally like second baby, which is Happyness Factory. Which is more of a B2B organization, and where you're taking on board the financial advisors and distributors and helping them with creating a kind of ecosystem and infrastructure where they can deliver the same level of services that MFA Capital was providing to is providing to your clients, right? So can you share a little bit about Happyness Factory, and we have NJ students, and then there are a lot of people who are coming in or who are already there who are in the space. So what specific problem are you trying to solve with Happyness Factory, catering to financial advisor as your clients?
Yeah, so there are 3 distinct problems, but even before that, what I realized was that most of the platforms in the country today are transaction-oriented platform, transaction-oriented, sales-oriented, product-based platforms, right? There were no client experience platforms. There were no, helping clients helping financial professionals have these world-class conversations. How do you deliver this client experience to them? There was nothing of that sort. So we are trying to solve 3 problems. The first problem is that of growth. Like growth is one of biggest problems in this space. And there's no platform, forget in India, I've not seen platforms in the world solving for growth. Right? So we are solving for growth as a problem. That's one. Second is that we are helping firms build enterprise value. That how do you build value in a firm? A lot of people don't even know what the value of their firm is today. You ask anyone, right? Even somebody who's got 2,000 crores, 1,500 crores of AUM, even 5,000 crores. Ask anyone. How many of you have done a scientific valuation? How many of you know the drivers of value? Right? One is the valuation, but the second is the drivers of value. How many people actually know that? Right? Very few people know that. So we're helping. The second problem is that we're helping people figure out that value. Helping them build the enterprise value. Okay, so that they can build a very valuable firm. Yeah,
correct.
And when they want to exit at like whatever point of time, yeah, they have built a valuable firm. Right. And the third problem that we are solving, we are helping people build the firm of the future. Biggest, right? That how do you protect? What's your competitive advantage? How do you get clients from banks? How do you get clients from financial institutions?
Sure.
Right? How do you compete with them? Do you have the same people? Do you have the same tech? Do you have the same kind of client experience? With Happyness Factory, you can have better. And it's an open challenge that we have a far superior client experience and a world-class platform better than any bank and financial institution in this country, as well as globally. Yeah. And I've got global validations for the statements that I'm making from people who know the subject. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. So
it's available to financial professionals across the country.
So growth, being future ready, and valuation, and being the best in the business.
Building enterprise value so that you have a very valuable firm. And one of the other problems, Sadik, that we are solving is for succession. There is no succession planning solution in the country today. There's no succession plan. If somebody wants to retire at 65 or like 60 or like whatever, what choices do you have? We have seen a few transactions happening here and there in the country, but those are done for very different reasons. If you look at genuine succession, real succession planning, there is not a single offering that's there in place. And NFP is one of the firms that's providing a comprehensive succession planning solution.
Sure. So Amar, what is this all obsession about happiness? You have happiness, happy with, all the names that you have started maybe post 2015. So what's this obsession and why happiness in almost all the names and all the sub names which you have created?
Yeah, because I probably asked thousands and thousands of people that what's the one thing that you would probably want for your children and for yourself, right? The only answer that I've ever got is that I want my children to be happy. I want happiness. Isn't this what we all aspire for? But we don't understand what happiness truly is, right? And we always feel that happiness lies elsewhere or on the other side of the world, or when I acquire this or when I get this, I will be happy, right? But ultimately it is something that makes us human, and every human wants to be happy. Right. So I've been fascinated with that subject. I've personally been very thoughtful, reflective of what I really want in my life. And I can tell you that I want to be happy too. And happiness is like such an important thing of our lives that if you ask me the same question for my children, I would probably tell you that I want them to be happy. Right. I want everyone to be happy. So,
true, very true.
And that's the reason, happiness is like a powerful name, and is why I have it, and not Pandit Financial.
Very truly put, Amar. Pandit Financial, maybe it would not have been sounding that great also.
Yeah, I know
happiness
that.
is good, okay?
Yeah. Happyness Factory is far better.
Than Pandit. All right. So in fact, Amar, just coming back to this happiness, I've been sharing lately with our members and our community that wealth utilization is actually equally or more important than wealth creation. And as an industry, as a fraternity, we are so obsessed with, okay, creating of assets and creating of wealth for the clients. Ultimately, it's the utilization, which is ultimately happiness, right? Jo bhi aap utilization karte ho, it has to lead to some kind of happiness. So very rightly put, Amar.
We have a phrase for it, Sadiq. Sorry, sorry to just cut you there, but we have a phrase for that. We call it the happy rich way. We say that plus money is equal to happy rich. So live happy rich. That's how we. So don't be just rich, be happy rich. So
super. That's a great message. Amar, you have been also a very avid writer with 5 books, and the only financial planning. मतलब मैंने जब वो पहले वो टाइटल पढ़ा था, ये क्या है, मतलब that is like, Amar Pandit is literally taking the ownership and literally owning financial planning as a word, right? So you've been an avid writer. I also know that you write. I love the blogs which you write, both for advisors as well as consumers. You also written 900 columns. I remember back in 2005 to 2010 days, any newspaper I open, Amar Pandit would be there. It was like literally Amar Pandit is like all over the place. Outlook Money nikalo wahan pe hai, Economic Times nikalo wahan pe hai, everywhere. Okay. So what is this about writing, and how this writing has actually helped you personally as well as professionally, both ways?
So it's helped me both ways, I would say, professionally as well as personally, to an extent that I love writing today so much that not a single day goes that I don't write. I write every day. It's a form of therapy for me that I have to write. Sometimes I rant about, if I'm feeling frustrated with something, I have to I have to vent it out as well. But I love writing. I love capturing my thoughts. I love doing that. It at a very professional level, it's certainly, helped us acquire a lot of clients from not just from across the country, but even from outside the country. So back in 2007, we got a gentleman on board from Switzerland who had, who had read one of my posts. I think so on Money Control or maybe on or maybe in ET. I don't know where, but he is still a very dear friend and a client of the firm. And he's been there for the last like 16 years with us. So we've been able to acquire a lot of clients through my writing, but I have never viewed writing as a way to acquire clients, right? Because I've always, felt that it's a medium of expression, and I felt that I need to be authentic when I'm expressing myself. So I've been very candid. If you've read my blogs, if you've read my thoughts, I've been very candid. I don't hold back words. And I primarily write from a perspective is that how can I help educate, whether it's consumers, whether it's financial professionals, how can I, help them understand certain topics? And if I'm able to add value in their lives, the whole purpose is that I come from a perspective that how do I add value to their lives? That how can I help them become like richer in their understanding of this space, right? So that's where it kind of, comes from, and it comes from a lot of passion. And that's somehow translated into us, getting clients on board. Even my book, Financial Planning for Doctors, a lot of financial professionals, a lot of MFDs used to gift it to their prospects.
True.
Across the country. And I've got a lot of letters from MFDs stating that, thank you for writing this book. Because of you, we've got a lot of clients on board. And nice. So I've kind of, done it from a perspective where it adds value to a lot of people. And like I said, I love it. And not a single day has gone by in the last, 4 years that I have not written. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, any day, all days I have written. And the kind of content that I've done just in the last 3.5 years, if I were to publish that today, that would be equivalent to about 14 books.
14 books. Lovely.
14 books. And I'm in the process of publishing 2 more books. The next book will probably be around questions, which is also one of the most important topics for financial professionals, because as financial professionals, we are ready always with answers. Correct. But we have great questions. And I always say that your answers will get questioned, but your questions will get answered. So
True.
become good in asking great questions.
Lovely, lovely.
Know the power of questions. Yeah.
And I have read your book, The Happy Rich Advisor, Amir. And again, I would say, apart from the book, I also follow your blog, which is Happy Rich Advisor itself, the blog.
Yeah,
So friends, you should definitely go to happyrichadvisor.com, subscribe to the blog, read the ones which he has already written, the latest one being feed forward versus feedback. Lovely thoughts, no nonsense, straight to the point. Making business, making logic. So that's Amar Pandit for all of us. Now coming to one last understanding about you as a person. Okay, with so much on platter, running 4 to 5 businesses, writing books, then doing multiple. I also know that you are involved in some voluntary work, which is also happening parallelly. So what are your do's and don'ts around personal productivity, Amar?
So one of the things is that I am a big fan of time blocking, right? As a strategy. So for example, just to give you an example, previously when I used to think like before, let's say 2020, before I started blogging, I used to think, chalo yaar, mujhe aaj column likhna hai. And then aaj used to never come. Right. But then I said that I'm going to write a column on Tuesday morning between 10 and 12:30. I'm going to write 2 posts. This is my time. So I have no meetings. I have nothing. This is my day. In fact, this is the only exception that I've made in the last 4 years. So my Tuesday mornings are always blocked, right?
Okay.
And I don't take anything. So because this is my writing time for my 2 books. So time blocking is like one strategy that's been very helpful. B is that what I would say is that saying no to many things.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Saying no to many things. We say yes to so many things that we don't have time at the end of the day. So one of the things that you would probably have not seen me at a lot of places, at a lot of, not that I don't want to participate or I don't want to be somewhere, but I had to consciously say no to so many things so that I could say yes to these things.
True.
Right? And so saying no is also super important. And you must have a clear focus on what's important to you as a person and as a business. Right. The third one, which is the most important pillar, that nothing could have happened without the team, without the support of my team. There was no way I could have done any of this without the support of my team, whether it is, Chitra, whether it is Sumita, whether it is Milind, whether it is Riddhi, whether it is, all of my team members, right? Whether it is Mahesh, whether it is Girish, whether it's PLN, whether it's Bhaven, Satish, whether all of them. I won't be able to take all the names, but without these guys, without Doris, who's my EA, without her, without them, I wouldn't have been able to do much. Ria, one name that I must take. So without them, there was no way I would have been able to do what I've been able to do. And it's only them, I think.
So time blocking of Elon Musk, saying no. I'll come to a story around saying no, and also the team. So these are the 3 mantras. Now, Amar, let me share with you. Every December before my annual conference, it was religiously I used to call Amar Pandit. Hey, Amar, can you come to the conference? We are thinking of doing this conference and I want you to be a speaker. And Amar will politely say, Sadiq, no, not this time. Sadiq, no, not this time. I must have heard at least, I have heard no's more from you than any other speaker. Okay. But I have respect for that. And I tell Preeti, I have respect for Amar because he's saying no, because he's trying to do something which is important, not just to him, but for the entire community and this profession in general. So I'm finally happy that you are here with on my show today.
No, you will hear a lot of yeses now. You ask me.
All right, good. So thanks a lot, Amar. One last question before we close. I used to do a fun rapid fire. I'm trying to do something else. Let's see how this goes. So my question to you is why? Very simple. Let me see how it comes out. Why you are doing what you're doing?
why am I doing what I'm doing? Because I simply love it. I love every bit of what I do, and I only do things that I love.
Why do you love what you're doing?
I don't know. I'm just very passionate about this. Yeah, I won't be able to articulate beyond that, but I'm simply super fascinated and passionate about this profession and the impact that it has on people's lives, right? That I've always been of the opinion that we're here to transform people's lives. We're not in the business of distribution of mutual funds. We are, helping people with their most important thing, their financial life. So that gives me a lot of joy. That gives me a lot of satisfaction, and because of which I truly love what I do.
And what are you, according to you, what are the top 2 or 3 transformations which we as personal finance professionals deliver to our clients?
See, the biggest thing is like by just being in their life, that they have to trust you for who you are. You don't have to prove to people that, markets will not go down or the markets will only go up. You don't have to prove anything to people. Your mere presence in their life is a gift. If you consider that as a gift, the biggest thing that I would tell people is that, so you're carrying a bag of diamonds with you, but do you believe that? Do you first, you need to believe it. Forget clients believing it. Do you believe that you have something unique? You have something valuable to offer to people? Do you believe that? Because if you believe that, then it's you. It's not products. It's not processes. It's not anything else. It's you. It's having you in their life. Does it mean something? It's a gift. So if people don't choose to accept that gift, that's fine. That's their loss. Right? So, but there are many people who will probably choose to accept that gift.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And yeah.
So first, believing in ourselves and respecting our own present, the meaning that we add to our client's life, and then obviously clients believe in that. So fantastic, Amar. Beautiful words, amazing thoughts, and thanks a lot for having here with us, and meeting up with the community. So friends, I'm opening up the chat. What was your key takeaway and one feedback for Amar Pandit on the chat? Everybody, hands on the keyboard, and let's have some feedbacks and learnings coming in from Amar Pandit. Meena says, time blocking, very inspiring, saying no to many things, passionate, super Amar, clarity of what he's doing, why he's doing. Kshitija, time blocking, okay. Happy Rich, be happy and live fully, write something every day. He is a visionary, time blocking, saying no to many things. Excellent entrepreneurship. Amar, you are a true genius, very nice. Committed, do right by the client, and that's what the regulator wants us to do. Simplify, Happyness Factory is the way. You are the diamond. All this for you, Amar, from the Network FP community. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us. Any last final words which you have for the community? And you have seen Network FP for some time, although you have said no to Network FP many times, but still, anything that you want to say about Network FP or the initiatives which we do and the community that Network FP is?
No, Sadik, I would, probably congratulate you and, tell you that you've done something truly fantastic. Getting so many people from across the country together is not an easy feat, right? And that's something, and to hold them for so many years together, it's truly remarkable. So I would congratulate you on that, you and your entire team. I'm sure behind you there is your team, as well, and they've done a fabulous job of getting everyone together. So I love what you do. Just one feedback that I would, have for you is that probably it's that there are certain things that you now need to be vocal about, right? In terms of taking a position, in terms of it, because you are seen as a leader, right? You are seen as an
organization,
as a leader, and I would love to see some thought leadership stuff from you as as a boy. But other than that, I mean, you've been doing awesome work, phenomenal stuff, and please keep doing what you're doing, and cheering for you and
thank you.
always support you.
Thank you so much, Amar. These are really very encouraging words. मैंने सोचा अमर बहुत दिनों के बाद आए तो बुलवा लेते हैं नेटवर्क एफपी के बारे में. So thanks a lot. I appreciate that. And now that you are given a permission for coming more often, let's see how we can have you communicating and sharing your insights. There's obviously more to what you have got to share with the community, and we would love to build on where we have left today. Thanks a lot, Amar, and all the chats for you. And and we'll carry on with the next segment of this. We have another 10 to 15 minutes, which will be happening. So thanks a lot, Amar. Can we all thank Amar? Friends on the chat once.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.